curriculum in the Western world has unbelievable amount of competition, and teachers are encouraging students to compete with one another, which makes students feel that they're either superior or inferior. Parents are making sure that their students are becoming the best at everything, winning the science contest, going to the best college, playing soccer the best, being the best cheerleader, singing the best, having the best boyfriend. So there's this sense of adequacy and inadequacy, and it leaves this big disparity in terms of the self-concept or the identity of the student. The curriculum is pushy in the Western world. How is it with the curriculum in your world?
Yeah, what we have is, we call the curriculum as eNBSE. See, the basic curriculum that is based and that is set up in the outer world is based on the competition. They have to compete any way they have to compete. Even if you see the conscious-based schools where they come out with different methods of Waldorf and Montessori, still they're competing that my child is very quiet and very beautiful and your child is not beautiful. Again, they have a comparison even in that. So it's about competition and how their children is better and how the kids themselves are made to feel they are better than somebody. So that is where the whole system is wrong. And they bring a system where all of them go to a same classes. They'll have one music class, they'll have some soccer class, and they'll have the extra classes to perform much better, but all of them follow the same sheep mentality. But here we are saying you're not a sheep, you are having n dimension, you're much more than an animal. You can come out with different dimension from your side, which will be the basis of creating your world where you're going to face all the things. So what we are going to give in as part of eNBSE is, Swami says a new word is called nurture. He says what we live is from our past, we give it to our children, and the children take that and then create their past. It's always about the past behavior, and we teach the kids to create past. The other day the 6-year-old is telling, in my past I never seen something like this. We were shocked. A 6-year-old having a past and not seeing something like that, it's too amazing. But actually that's what the world has taught them. They have learned this word past. What do you mean by past in 6-year-old? They have to run and play and enjoy the whole space. But because of the societal conditioning and the parental and all that, it's about the past they live in. And they've been taught how to do the same thing in the same way every day. So it becomes reiteration and conditioning for the kid. But Swami says, do everything in a new sense. As when you get up in the morning, you should feel it's a new day. It's the first day of my life. You should do everything as though you've seen us for the first time. Then only the nurture comes. The kid actually, when they come into the class, they think it is a new place and new things. Every time a baby looks at the fan or the light, it looks at the bulb and light as a new item there, new object, and they keep staring. But when we look at the fan, it's a boring thing. How many hours can we look at it? The babies can look at it for hours because they really look, there's something unique about it. Just a fan. So basically we were like that. But because of conditioning, we close ourselves from looking at the dimension of things. So when we did an experiment, we had an experiment where we had things, items kept in the classroom and then removed. And these kids came and beautifully spotted which were missing, even the smallest item. But when we did for the adults came to the classroom and not only said what is missing is wrong, they said the things which are there is also in the wrong place. They had no idea, 100% they were wrong. All the teachers were wrong. But all the kids were absolutely correct in saying which were missing and which is placed in a different place. So the whole thing was they look at things in a new sense with full awareness and as a big picture. So these things have to go into the subject learning also. When we look at a subject, it has to be a big picture. They have to learn with lot of multi-dimensional. Instead of the concept, just the concept is not going to help them. They have to understand by living with it. It's like a tool. If you just show the tool, this is the screwdriver or a spanner, what will a spanner do to us? You just have to show them how the spanners can be used in multiple purpose. And actually we don't have spanners or screwdriver, we have a machine where we can do multiple things. And n dimension is there with that thing. So we should show them that the possibilities are n. And you can create your own possibilities by giving. So you will start creating the nurture. And by creating, the kids spontaneously creating, they come out their own dimension, each one uniquely performing, and they come out in a beautiful thing of satisfying themselves in inner space. So this becomes a most beautiful part, satisfying them in their inner space. So this is the basis of eNBSE.
So when we talk about curriculum in the Western world, we talk about the standard course of study. And in the standard course of study, there are specific standards that the child needs to know and be able to do by a certain grade level. And the curriculum is based on the standards. So it's like a roadmap, and the student has to follow from one place to the next, and it's a graduated standard roadmap. It really puts a lot of pressure on students, not only in terms of competition, but in terms of accomplishment and making sure that all those standards are met, and if they're not met, then the student fails. So we talk about schools without failure. Is it possible to have a school without failure? And what does it mean when we have a lot of students failing a curriculum? Are we really meeting the needs of the society, or really empowering the student? Can we have schools without failure?
Yeah, one dimension which is missing out in the curriculum is the right brain side. Swami says in the right brain nothing is left, in the left brain nothing is right. Because the whole system is being only in logical, analytical purpose. The right side of understanding things can be beyond just logic and reasoning is being suppressed in the kids. So when they start the education, we show them guessing games and playing right brain games actually helps them in opening the dimension, actually retaining the dimension which already exists. That's why we have the yoga and the meditation to keep the right brain alive. So what happens with all the inner space clearance and all this clarity, the right brain starts functioning, and then we give a lot of method on visualization. We give them visualization where they start visualizing every subject in more of a pictorial form, and that really helps them. And actually when there are kids which, last time we were speaking about the auditory learner and the visual learner, most of are visual learners. So we are able to grasp things much easier. And if you show a funny picture, the kids are going to smile at it and say wow, and start looking at it and pay attention to it. So we are just changing the methodology. The syllabus is still the same. As she says, we have the same roadmap. The roadmap is not changed, but how we reach there, the method is different. So the end result is kind of same, actually beyond. What we have in our school is they come and pick up the level of exam they want, and they run to the teacher to ask for more things. So because of this, the teacher always has to get updated with what they are teaching. So like in Montessori, we also make sure that we are learning again and again the same thing till the kid are understanding the whole knowledge about something. But doing that, what we do, we give a different perspective of the same object. So they know the complete picture of the whole thing. So that way they learn the complete picture how they can use it. So when they go to the next level, since they know the complete picture, they can apply in different modules and see for themselves what's happening. But usually the schools give them, this is the only method, this is the only possibility, and this is how you should do it. That's where we have a problem with the regular mainstream. That becomes a boredom for the kids. How many times am I supposed to do the same way, the same ideas and the same way to present it? So they become a big drawback in the kids. So we are using the same syllabus with the same roadmap that is there, but the way we reach to the points in the roadmap is completely different. There will be kids, most of them is going overhead, because they want to learn more. In our school, the kids run to the teachers again and again to show them that they want more of it, because they are getting more satisfied by going to a school.
And it's funny because you were saying that in your school system, the kids run to the teachers, and in our school system, the kids run from the teachers. So there's a big difference, that there's this sense of wanting to be motivated and excited about learning and thriving environment where there's a lot of participation and a lot of motivation to move ahead to the next step. So amazing that the curriculum is basically the same, the roadmap is the same, but the way, the methodology, the use of the stimulus and the excitement in that inner space where the student is excited about who they are and excited about what they're learning and wanting to look above the bar and seeing the future as something exciting, so everything is new. So it's the nurture instead of the future.
Yeah, even in terms of the exam, the kids run to the teacher and then they say which level you want. So we make sure we give the level that what they want, like a computer game. They understand, you can understand like a computer game. If they finish the level 1, they can move to level 2. Otherwise, we'll repeat the activities in the level 1 to move to the level 2. They clearly understand this and they go to the teacher. They ask for the exam papers and sit and write. It's very, very interesting to see the kids running and asking for an exam paper, and they wait for this day because they want to move to next level to have the new activities. New activities like a computer game. The computer games have been designed such that they finish one level, they can go to the next level, have more fun. So the concept of exam has become fun. So I need to finish in this level. There are some kids who are going beyond their level just to see what is there in the next level. Curiosity, inquisitive. Once you have an inquisitive mind, you can learn everything. So they want to actually play with all these things, because the way they learn is satisfaction and the way they are producing it out is inquisite. They inquisite what is there in the next side, next level. So it becomes the exam, and the idea about the exam itself concept is broken.
So when you talk about genius, or every child being able to become a genius, what does that really mean? Does it mean that we have this innate ability to go beyond our boundaries, to break our boundaries, and to expand our inner space and see that we can become so much more than what we already are? And in the Western world, we're wanting to break the boundaries. We want to create teamwork. We want to create thinking out of the box and reality-based problem solving and an internal locus of control. But how do we create that, and what do we have to build that structure in the individual student?
In Nithyananda Vidyalaya, in eNBSE, we follow this right brain education. See, in our Vedic system, in Vedic age, one person was able to learn 250 ships of data, which is like content books which were stored in 250, all the Vedas. And only one person was able to receive this whole thing. How did he manage to do it? The main system of education was teach them through sound waves, through different methodology which our subconscious mind can register. Basically, our mind can register a lot more, and we can use it in much more deeper way, which will be easier for us to produce to the outer world. Like Swami says, if you put a stick in this side and which goes back, and the other stick through the ears, the point which it meets, it's the internet download point, where we can download all the information that is required for our day-to-day living. But what we do is, we have been conditioned into understanding only the left brain, logical, what we see is only what we believe kind of life has started going on. So we forgot there is a dimension that the kids are able to learn spontaneously. See, if I make a map and I know where places are, I can just go there because I made the whole map of that whole area. But what has happened now, the education system, the map is given and repeatedly taught to the kids and told this is how you go. But what we do is, we again take them around the place and show them the place and ask them to draw the map. It's completely different that they build the map and you give the map. So who knows the whole thing? The person, holistic education they say now, but nobody follows, because the holistic means using your right and left side of the brain. And the whole thing is we given the ingredient for them to expand, ingredient for them to have a beautiful world. So if they have the ingredient, they can place it in the way they want. Each one is unique and each one can create the dimension that is required. So we give the dimensions that they have to build, and we keep giving them ideas and views in a different perspective and visualization and all these tools and all the dimension that they can expand into. By giving them all these ingredients and the tools, they can build the structure in the way they want, bringing in the whole dimension. Swami says the sense, our senses can do lot more stuff. The eyes can breathe. Our tongue can actually taste the tune, what we can hear actually through ears. So these are the possibility that we teach the child right from the young age. We go on teaching all these visualization method where we talk about the after image, that in morning the kids will play looking at the sun and there will be orange spots. But we take it much more deeper and teach them how to observe things, photographic memory. If they can learn the book just by looking at the paragraph instead of going through the words, they can remember it forever. These are methods which were there in Vedic system where they can just scan the books and just learn it. But what has happened is all these has gone and the big picture of learning has gone, and they teach phonetically and word wise, where we bring them to come to a point where they need to see only one letter at a time. So what happens, the eye vision is actually shrunk into seeing only 2-3 words at a time. Instead of eye vision, actually can read a paragraph and understand as paragraph. Once we enter into a room, we are able to see the things. We don't go point to each item in the room and tell, I have understood this room. Once we enter the room, we know what are the things available. Like that, once we look at the page, we need to know what is available in the page. But what has happened, that idea of looking at the word is being drilled into us. So we logically read. When you logically read to your mind, you can only logically remember that. But when you go for a visual reading, you can visually remember and recite it any time of the day. So we have methods like this, many methods like this, where we teach to the subconscious mind, which is the right brain, which they can download at any spot. They can, if they want the information, they go for their map, which they have set up, and pull out the data. In this case, they go for the mind, which is half forgotten by 20 days and full forgotten by 3 months. And when they go to the next year, it's like a new subject. In this case, we should not be in new subject. You should have some idea about this. But what happens? They have a total relearning of from scratch. So the complete picture is lost. This is what happens in regular education and the right brain education. So right brain education, we have nothing called slow learner. In our school, there is no slow learner. Everybody performs the best because everybody is a genius, and these are small things for them to learn. Actually, each one should be in dimensionally exploding, but these are small things that we are trying to teach, and in that we are comparing, have a competition exam, and we are suppressing them to the core that they should not perform, and have tuition, have computer activities and games and things like that for them to enhance what actually naturally available for them to learn. So just selling other products, we are suppressing and putting them to a tuition world. But actually, if you teach them the way it should be taught through the right brain education, they'll be exploding. They can give these computer game people ideas to create more games. This is what will happen.
It is really important that we cultivate the genius in all individuals and in all students, and we do that through both the right brain and the left brain, through bringing the attention to the inner space so that we gain a full knowledge of who we are based on the inside out instead of the outside in, that we see our future as a nurture and something that's fresh and alive and recreates our mind and our body. It's amazing. I think I'm going to come to your school and start from kindergarten and see if I can become more enlightened as a result. Hopefully it's not too late for me yet.
Yeah, regarding the people who have learned all these skills, are called indigo kids, crystal kids, rainbow kids, who are actually in nature coming out to the world to show that these possibility exist. You can even Google, there's a blind boy who can really hear like dolphins, and he can even find objects next to him. Okay, this blind boy who has been able to judge anything, he can do skating, surfing, he can do anything in the world, and he says this is a possibility because I can see through my ears. Because the whole point is, he says, if dolphins can do, I can do. When he was small, about 2 years, he had some problem with his eyes, and the doctor removed his eyes, and that time he came home, he said, Mama, I'm not able to see. Mom said, you have ears, nose, mouth, cheeks, you can see. So he really believed that his possibilities are there, where the mom was confident, and that confidence went into him, and he was able to see. And this is a living example. If he can do, we can also do it. There are so many painters that you can see in YouTube where they can paint with their fingers. They can do 3-dimension color painting with their fingers because they believe that they can do beyond. The belief is a perception. We believe this is our limit. We've been conditioned to believe this is our limit. We've been again and again told this is our limit. But in first 6 years, when the right brain is usually open for a city kid, usually in village it goes up to even 10 to 14 years. That's what Swamiji says. But usually city at least 6 years, we can give this concept of possibility that you can see. You can see through your ears. You can smell through your eyes. It's completely possible. We have 5 senses. For all 5 senses can do 4 other sense activity. That's what Swamiji says. So really there are so many people who are doing it. Then the possibility in kids should be encouraged right from the age where the possibilities are already there. So they can start expressing these possibilities and transforming themselves. The other day, one of the 6-year-old was telling Swamiji, for sitting for Guru Puja, I will transform myself to do the Guru Puja much better. The words transforming coming from a 6-year-old is amazing, because the understanding is going much deeper that there is a possibility. If we give that possibility to the children, they will be so amazingly come out. That's what is happening with these indigo kids, and we should encourage more kids to play with them and encourage the dimension which exists in them, which we have not been taught, and we suppressing that part is going to be a dangerous thing. So making them understand there is a possibility will expand the dimension and solve all the problem, because everybody is a genius. No topper exists in this world, because toppers based on competition. We are talking genius, which is uniquely present in everybody. The innate nature of a child is genius. The genie is already in us. So we are genius. So we have to just bring out in the kids the same thing.
So after many years of education in the West and going to 400 football games and doing 1,688 teacher evaluations and breaking up probably about 800 fights over the past few years, it's amazing to see how this educational system is born of freedom and of consciousness and of life and of creativity. So if you would like to know more about Nithyananda Vidyalaya, please look at what's on your screen. You can write on this website down and write down this information. It's a wonderful program. It's a program every child, every adult, every human being on the planet Earth should experience, because it gives you the opportunity to be the person you really are, which is perfectly free, to be happy, to be a bliss bag, to have a Vedic mind and a yogic body. So thank you for joining us, and it's been a lot of fun to see the difference between 2 worlds of education.